my name is Violet, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite stomp boxes, the MXR Phase 90 phaser. Now, I'm sorry about the backwards image here. I don't know how to fix that on my camera, but I'm sure we can figure this out anyway. I guess I'll start off with a little demonstration. Play a little song, a part of a song, a little jam or riff on something that was done before me. By Eddie Van Halen, who is one of the persons who really popularized the Phase 90, and also I learned a lot from listening to him, and it's something that not a lot of people notice. But anyway, watch what I do with the phaser, how I turn it on and off at different moments in the song. Here it is. Okay, so that's my first trick for using the Phase 90 phaser, and I learned it from Eddie Van Halen and Tom Morello, both of whom use Phase 90 phasers. And what it is, the trick is, don't turn it on for a whole song. Only turn it on at key moments within a song, and suddenly your guitar will come to life. The room will spin, people won't know what's going on, and you can really make your guitar come alive for just a few seconds rather than just leaving it on for a whole song and letting that grate on people's ears and they get used to it. And then it becomes something expected. It's no longer something special. So turn your Phase 90 on only during key moments in the song, and it'll have a much different impact than if you leave it on for the whole song. Now, something I should have covered even before that is, where do I put the phaser in the chain? And that's what I'm going to talk about next. Okay, one of the first questions you're going to need to answer for yourself is, where do I put my phaser in my pedal chain? Now, Dave Hunter has a really good book, and I'm sure there's others out there. This is called Guitar Effects Pedals, The Practical Handbook by Dave Hunter, who has a number of books out, but this one is probably my favorite one that he wrote. In it, he goes through all the classic effects pedals and stomp boxes and what they do and the brands and all the different things. Well, anyway, in one chapter he talks about different orders you can put your pedals in, and with phasers, this is sort of a something that you have to pay attention to, because there are some people that will put the phasers before the distortions, and some people that will put the phasers after the distortion. In that last excerpt that I just played, I put the phaser before the distortion because it sounded like crap when I put it after the distortion. It didn't give me, I needed something mellower. This is what I find, at least in my pedals. If I put the phaser before the distortion, it's a lot more mellow than if I put it after the distortion. Now, in my normal pedal board, I use the phaser only for special effects. So I want that nutso craziness. So it's in with my modulations after the distortion pedals. So because of that, it responds a lot differently, and I'll give you a little demonstration of how much more raucous that pedal sounds, the Phase 90 sounds. Okay, anyway, here you go. Okay, so now we've seen a couple tricks for using the Phase 90 phaser. The first is, where do you put it in your chain will affect what it sounds like. If you put it before the distortions, it's going to sound more mellow. If you put it after the distortions, it's going to sound a little more raucous. So you have to consider that first. Second thing is, I advise you to pick certain spots where you're going to turn it on, certain situations that you want to really bring out somehow with the Phase 90. That way, it's more stunning effect when it's on. Now, I only use the Phase 90 3 times in all the 35 songs that I've done on my cover list so far. So I'm just going to go over each situation, and it's funny because each one is very different. I use it for different reasons in each situation, and so here they are. Situation 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the first song I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an excerpt from my cover of Groundhog's Day by Primus, and in this case I put the Phase 90 on the rhythm guitar, and the reason I did that is because it's right at the end of the song and it makes a climactic moment. So I'll play that excerpt for you. Here you go. Okay, so in that case, I turned the phaser on at the end of the song, key moment when I wanted to make it a climactic moment. And so Phase 90 goes on, it confuses people, they don't know what the heck's going on, and it just puts the song into overdrive. So that's a great technique that you can use. Now the next technique I want to show you is how to use the Phase 90 in a situation where you want to change the sound of your guitar so you don't sound like a guitar anymore. Now, what I did here is in pink, there's a scratching section. The DJ scratches in the middle of the song in the bridge. And I thought, well, hey, I know how to do that because I know what Morello does. He basically just takes his guitar and rubs the strings like this and uses his toggle switch. And he also uses a wah pedal for white noise. Well, I decided that I would try it first without the wah pedal or any white noise, and it didn't quite sound right. So then I thought, well, you know, with this Phase 90 thing making this raucous sound after my distortion, all I have to do is maybe turn that on and see what happens. So I turned it on, and I turned it up to 12 o'clock. Now this is going to be backwards. My normal setting for the Phase 90 is right at, this is actually 9 o'clock. It looks like 3 o'clock because it's backwards, but I set the Phase 90 at 9 o'clock in my normal setting, and that's what every excerpt that you've heard is at 9 o'clock, except for this one, where I moved it around a little bit and eventually settled, I think, on 12 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock, but I think it was 12 o'clock. But anyway, so and I just rubbed my hands on the strings, and I made my guitar sound like DJ scratching, just like Tom Morello does. So here's Pink, You in Your Hand. Okay, so we've gone over two situations now where I've used the Phase 90. In the first one, it was end of Primus on a rhythm guitar in order to push the whole sound over the edge. I hadn't used it the whole song, I just put it at the very end as a climactic moment in the song. And you can listen in Killing in the Name. I do the same thing with a flanger there, but I could have done it with a Phase 90 as well. I turned it on 3 times in Killing in the Name, just like Tom Morello does. He does it at least twice. I do it 3 times. Okay, the next situation was Pink, where I used the Phase 90 in order to sound like a DJ scratching, kind of like Morello does, but he doesn't use the Phase 90 to do it. Now the third situation is in a solo, and I kind of steal this from Jimi Hendrix a little bit. Now he didn't use the Phase 90, but he had this, he loved science fiction, and so in his music, sometimes he sounded like science fiction. And the song that comes to my mind most is Third Stone from the Sun. But there were others. Now, his effects maker, Roger Mayer, said in an interview, and he said that what he and Hendrix had in mind when they designed his effects, like the Octavia and some of the other things he had, was that it would make his guitar sound like a spaceship kind of hovering in front of you, and then it would just take off in some direction. And so I thought, in Living Color, Funny Vibe, that song is about alienation. And what better way to express alienation than to sound like an alien? So I thought, well, I'm going to borrow a trick from Hendrix and put an effect that makes the guitar swirl and move around like a spaceship. And so I did, and I did it the whole way through the solo. After much debate about when I would turn it on, I decided, well, let's leave it on for the whole thing until the two-handed tapping part at the end. Anyway, so that's what I did, and to push it over the edge, I also add a little special trick towards the end. I put a tremolo on. See if you can hear where that is. Anyway, here's my Living Color Funny Vibe solo with Phase 90 the whole time. There you go. Thanks for watching. I hope that these ideas help you to use the Phase 90 a little more creatively. I'm sure you can come up with your own ideas, and please leave any comments or questions that you have. If you have any more ideas you want to share, please do. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.